It's a little Palo Santo today. It's deep breathe. No, it's Palo Santo. And hello, hope everybody's having a most awesome Friday. I don't know. I'm using Palo Santo. And I really like Palo Santo. It's really kind of soft. Use that to clear our cards. And guess who didn't bring a thing over? So we'll just put that right over there. And I'm using the Angels and Ancestors deck. Those are by Kyle Gray. I like them. It's that little deck that I say my boyfriend's in. And they're like, you can't have a tarot card or oracle card boyfriend. Yes, I can. I don't know. I know when his card comes up, it's always a positive, uplifting vibe. And so that's why I love it so much. Because I get a positive, uplifted vibe from that. Okay, there's one. So, it's Friday. It's Labor Day. I keep trying to say Memorial Day. It's Labor Day weekend. It makes me sad because it's the end of the summer. But I got a lot of cool, groovy things going on. I have a new program. I'm not giving cash discounts anymore. I used to do cash discounts and discounts for, different, senior citizen, discount for military, discount for student, discount for this. And to be honest, it just got to be too much for me. I'm trying to remember who's, what, when, where, why. And so anyway, long story short, so I've decided to start doing a weekly package or a bi-weekly package. Or you can do single visits, whichever way you like to do it. And I'm always running something cool every month, a little different than what I normally do for a special. And so we've got two specials this month. There's a crystal healing, and then the other one is a hot stone Conza reflexology for the feet. So two groovy things going on. And come on, give me some more cards. I only got one. Let's see the forecast. You need some direction. I think she's telling me to shut up with my personal story and move on. That's okay. So, okay, there's two, and I know the one over here is number 2. Let's see if we can get a third one at least to spit. Okay, all right, hell yeah, we got a whole bunch. Is everybody on lunch break? No, I'm just messing with you. I moved back over to 107, which is where I started out originally. So I'm back in 107. And so when I moved, I can't find some of my stuff. I know it's here. Oh, thank you. I'm just messing with you. So anyway, I couldn't find some of my stuff, so I'm like a good Marine, and I adapted and overcome. So let's take a look at the cards. Okay, so we're starting out with a kind of, because normally if this was upside down, it would be like, oh, things are coming through. Oh no, this thing, the energy that's coming in right now is nothing but block, 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 obstacle, obstacle, obstacle. So there's a lot of obstacles coming in, blowing in our direction, and I'm getting this word of frustration. And so if we've got a lot of stunted growth coming in our direction, and we're looking at this next card here, as in this is what's the obstacle to the energy coming in. Okay, I'm going to put it like this. All right, we got an energy coming in that's going to be really pretty fierce. And this energy is meant to make movement happen and for growth to occur. But looking at it upside down, that means that we're going to have to work through this, and there's going to be some active participation in the clearing of that obstacle. Now, at that second card that comes in, which is the Protection Guardians upside down, this is saying, hey, it's going to hit, and when it hits, you are totally off guard. Totally off guard. And not prepared for what's about to hit. Okay, so I'm over here laughing in my head because most of us, especially if you're in my age group, around 60-ish years old, we're all sitting here going, oh yeah, been there, done that, been there, done that, been there, done that. Oh no, baby, this is something that we haven't been there and we haven't done. Yeah, it's that kind of intensity. All right, and then what is my help? Well, my help on this, or your help on this, our help on this, is going to be the very fact that we're going to have to be right there in the middle of it all, right there in the middle of it all, and we are going to be so ding-dang busy putting out the metaphoric fires that we're not going to have an opportunity to even complain about how tired we are. Yeah, so that means that, yeah, you're going to be feeling a little bit overwhelmed, and you're going to be feeling like you're pulled off in 5 different directions, not 4, 5. Because there'll be a little tug of war between 2 of those directions. That's going to be about you and your spirit and your energy and what you're doing and what you're bringing and the good things that are going to be happening to you going through this funky storm, because this is what it is. It's a funky storm. It's not a storm so much that it's can be classified as a category 6 kind of storm, but it's a storm that's going to keep you very occupied and very busy, metaphorically putting out the metaphoric fires. Putting out metaphoric fires. All right. You ever heard of that phrase, the blind leading the blind? Well, that's what this is going to feel like through this. As again, I'm going to reiterate, a brand new obstacle, or whatever you want to call it, a brand new lesson, brand new experience, something that you haven't been through before. You have very little to no knowledge, wisdom, base, foundation in that. So it's kind of learning from the ground up and moving up or moving forward. Okay, and through this. And again, it's like the blind leading a blind. You're not going to have a lot of resources, as in people, mentors, guides to help you through this, that some of this is going to be experienced, and I'm laughing here at the school of hard knocks, but not everything is a hard knock. Let's take a look at the next card, okay, because that's what this card was talking about. I'm like, holy cow, why is everything an upside down? Well, that means that we're going to have just a little bit of a struggle getting to where we need to be. A little bit of a struggle of where we need to be. I kind of like the idea. I love shopping on Amazon, okay? I may not like Jeff. I may not like what he stands for, but I like the convenience of Amazon. And, when they screw up, they do take good care of us. And when we screw up, they still take good care of us. So I'm like, hey, Amazon's kind of a win-win. Okay, this is kind of like your Amazon coming through, or ordering things through Amazon. We may not like every aspect of it, but the pros far outweigh the cons. And that is what we're looking at here, coming off of what was our obstacle, what is our help, even though I'm like, that really is not a help. But through this, it's kind of, we can look at this, and there's pros and cons, but in your choices that you make, the pros far outweigh the cons. The pros far outweigh the cons. Okay. And that's going to be like, so Walmart has hand sanitizer for the best price. But we all hate waiting in line at Walmart, even through the self-checkouts, because it's like I should be paid to be shopping here if I have to check myself out, right? It doesn't make a big bunch of difference, because the pro part of it is that you got that phenomenal hand sanitizer. It was in stock, it was plentiful, and it was a decent price, as opposed to going to 7-Eleven and paying $9.99, and this is the last bottle, and boom, like the label is ripped. And so we're always looking at that ripped label like, do I really want that? Somebody's cooties were on that. Okay, going back to this card. Okay, the convenience, even though sometimes there's a hassle to it, the pros far outweigh the cons in what you're looking at and what you're facing and what you're going through. The pros are going to far outweigh that garbage stuff. Those things aren't really going to mean a whole lot of difference in the end result. It might have just been a little extra work or a little extra time that's to it, but that end result is still going to be pretty awesome. And how do I know that? Let's look at this card. Yeah, come on. There we go. The Shaman card. And so it's kind of like when my boyfriend, the trader, comes in, and that's Trader, not trader like Benedict Arnold. When my trader card comes in, I know it's good, groovy, cool stuff. And the same thing when the Shaman card comes in. I truly look at that as my, probably like my Big G card, or Big J card, something along that lines. It's somebody that's got a higher power, a higher force, a higher energy than me. And when I see this card, it's like, man, I know their hand is on my shoulder, and they're guiding me, leading me, they're with me. It's the same thing here. It's like, even though this storm is going to be really kind of brutal in some ways, and you're really going to have to go through some shish and work through some of that shish, knowing that our higher source, our higher power, our higher force, whatever you want to call it, know this, that they are with you. You are spiritually protected. You're spiritually guided. That whatever the garbage that's going on this plane is of this plane. That in that higher realm, that you're being protected. You're being guided. And, it's kind of like a good feeling to me to know that I have this little bit sense of assurance with it. Now, going through all of this stuff, and it's like I'm getting this message, like, trials and tribulations make us grow. Trials and tribulations create victories, and strengths and courage, because you learn more about yourself every time you go through a trial and a tribulation. And so when we look at this card and where it's coming in, it's like, no matter how crappy everything's going to feel like, you are actually coming out on the light. You're coming out on top. You're going to be the victor or victorious, the victor or victorious through this. You just have to kind of go through some of the work. Often when we have things that give us a shortcut or a fast pass, there's always a catch to it. And we always end up missing out or owing on that experience when we fast track through it and we don't really get to experience or savor, and I don't know why I use that word savor, the entire experience. And so this is just kind of a little indicator, or a little push, a little confirmation that no matter how crappy it seems, no matter how hard your choices and decisions will be, you are still going to come out on top. You're still going to come out in the light. You're still going to come out with strength, courage, and what I love here, every time I see my owls, I know that we're going to get some wisdom and knowledge out of it. And, have you ever really, think about it, have you ever really received great energy or great, great wisdom, great knowledge, great good feeling about your experience when you didn't have to put some work or effort into it? It's kind of like you just can't magically go poof and boom, there's a beautiful cake. Because I would love to learn how to bake a beautiful cake and expect that poof was any reflection of your work, because it's not. I mean, that was just a fast track to get through there. When I poofed, I went to Crest and I got the damn cake at Crest. All right, so when we look at this card here, and because I'm like, okay, so what are some of our issues through this? What's some of this? Some of us just don't like to be the one to set the boundary. We don't like to be the one to say no. We don't want to be the one to say yes when everybody else wants to say no. We have difficulties with that. And this card is saying that, you're going to have to be the one to step forward and take authority, take charge, take lead, especially when it comes to your boundaries or your rules of engagement, whatever you want to call that. Rules of engagement, just for the record, are kind of like your instruction booklet and how to engage with you. And what to expect from engagements. And you could probably even add some clauses in there. If you are a narcissistic ding-dong dillywog, this is how I will react, so that there is no what and no coming up out of that. We have difficulties with that. We have difficulties telling people exactly what to expect when they cross a boundary. Be very mindful that you start to determine what the consequences are when they cross your boundaries or when your boundaries are violated. It's important that you stand up for yourself and you let people know who you are, what to expect. Don't keep people guessing, because you surely wouldn't want you to be guessing about other people's boundaries. Because, when we think about it, that's what a narcissist does. A narcissist wants you to feel totally weak, totally vulnerable, totally at loss, especially for who you are and how strong you are and what you bring to the table. All right. And you're like, what do I bring to the table? Sometimes you have to bring things that you really don't want to bring to the table. And that's what this is talking about through here. Have you really sat down with yourself and really made that list of things that you do want in your life and things that you want to overcome in your life? Because that's what the Hunter card is. The Hunter is about us sitting down. He's cute too, isn't he? It is about us sitting down and really examining who we are, what we want, and what we want to let go of. What we don't want to hold us back in any sense of bondage, body, mind, and spirit. And often when people see this card, they get really uncomfortable, because that's the time that you have to really get raw and real with who you are and be very realistic about what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are, and how you use your strengths to bring your weaknesses up into an elevated area. And then all of those things that you want to get rid of, you have to be able to take those strengths and flip them into something that you do want, or that is desirable, or does fill your space or fill your needs. And to be that hunter and to really do some self-examination can be very, very uncomfortable for some people. In that, we have to really kind of start looking at who we are and what we believe in and what we want others to see in ourselves. But in order to get to that spot, you have to balance your emotions, and you have to find a sense of freedom from what has been holding you back, and a sense of I'm getting like propellation, I don't know if that's the word, to move forward and really reach towards those goals that you do want to have. It's kind of like people want to say that they want to see the world, but then they go and run on a treadmill. You're running, and I get it, and you still did 10 miles, but you're running in place. Go to the park, go run in the park, because you'll see a lot more on that run in the park than you will on your treadmill. One thing that we are very uncomfortable with doing here is letting ourselves be vulnerable, allowing ourselves to feel any sense, and I'm getting of love. Sometimes this can be that we don't feel like we are worthy of love, and then sometimes we experience this when we don't feel others are worthy of our love. Okay, the first one, not feeling like you're worthy of love, that is an inside job. And that healing for that is going to be an inside job. You're not going to find anything on the outside that's going to fill your heart space. You have to fill that space. But if the second part is the part that's kind of throwing the red flag or throwing that up, where I'm saying, that intuition, that feeling, that gut vibration, that the other person is not worthy of your love or your attention. Some of you are going to take it like we're being conditional, not being unconditional in our love. We can love people, but sometimes people cannot. There's not a good vibration. There's not a good connection when we have that physical connection, or that physical, like in logistics, that we're living under the same roof, or, even that we're dating, but it can be a very toxic or a negative relationship. That's what this card is talking about. This card is talking about where there is no synergy in that love relationship. It's time for you to back it off. It's time for you to get out of it. It's time for you not to be a part of that, because they are not giving back at all, or very little of what is being shared. And in that, there's no synergy, and the work is all being one-sided. In that, you're not truly being loved, and it is the other person that's being conditional. You can love someone from afar. You don't have to be up in their space. That's what this card is talking about. In the end, it's like, what's the end result here? And that end result here is that through all of this crazy metaphoric storm, through all of this crazy metaphoric storm, you will come out like a cat landing on your feet, and you will actually be moving in a totally new direction. Whew. That was kind of long today. We had several cards through there, and it was a lot of what I'm going to call a brutal message. A lot of that message is like the energy is not going to be that great, and it's not going to be that fun, and it's going to be a lot of work. But we do experience success. We do experience good stuff, and we do grow and become better people through this funk coming in. Peace, love, and harmony. I hope to see you guys Sunday morning, 8 a.m.-ish to 10 a.m.-ish, over at Crystal Lake. We are doing a Reiki share as well as a lake/park cleanup. So I hope to see you there. Peace, love, harmony.